Economics versus politics. On one hand, you have a science, and the other is a product. Economy is basically based on two ideas: the ideas of scarcity and the idea of choice. So, economics is every choice you make, versus scarcity, which is actually the first law in economics, the law of scarcity, where there's not enough of any one thing to please everyone's needs. So that immediately contradicts the first law of economics, immediately contradicts the number one rule of politics, which is get elected. In economics, there's no solutions. Zero solutions. There's only trade-offs. So you look for the better solution for everybody to make things work, make the best decision for you, and you have to trade off, right? Because everybody doesn't get what they want. Versus politics is full of promises of solutions, promises solutions. In economics, competition is a good thing. It brings about quality, the speed of how you get your stuff. It brings up the value, because the guy that brings the better product, the best quality, at the better value, makes the most money. So to be in order to bring prosperity, you have to be the best, right? Of course, in politics, like I just mentioned before, they give you it's a product where they give you promises, and it's built off lies. Basically, if you think your politics is telling the truth, I don't know what to tell you. Politics is lie 101, and tons of talking points. They dumb everything down to talking points, things, 2 words or a small phrase, something they can repeat and repeat over loud enough to where it becomes the truth, even though it's a complete lie. It's all politicians. Almost all politicians do it. Talking points are on both sides. Um, they in politics they mask problems as solutions, right? They reword things. They use language. For example, in economics, uh, they don't. Sorry, in a politician will tell you housing is a right. Housing housing is not a right. It's 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 a product made from resources that is scarce. There's not enough housing to serve everyone. Affordable housing, a problem in economics. That's called a price ceiling, right? When you think of a price ceiling, right, you think of something on top of you, right? The ceiling of your your apartment. Well, imagine you can't pass that ceiling. That's a price ceiling. So landowners, property owners can't charge the proper prices, and because of that, they have to resort to cutting costs, which usually goes to not updating the properties, not fixing the properties, not keeping them up to date, cutting corners, laying off workers, uh, cheap labor, not a quality plumber, things of that nature. Uh, Price floors are problems And when they mask price floors as things like $15 minimum wage, rent control, right? Sorry, we just did price ceilings. Uh, $15 an hour is a price floor, right? Price floor, $15. That's another problem. When you minimum wage is probably one of the biggest economic cons in politics. It's, it's one of the most anti-minority policies that have has created this huge lie with no data behind it to prove. I mean, to pretend that it's a solution, but it's a problem. A price floor. When you think of a floor, right? You think of your floor, it holds you up, right? Well, in economics, a price floor is something you can't pass. There's a floor here, you can't get past it. You stomp on it, that's a floor, right? And that's what a minimum wage is, a floor. You can't go below that number, it's illegal, right? But there's secondary effects to this kind of stuff. Uh, they're immediate and secondary, which immediate sounds like what it is. Uh, when a minimum wage basically prices unskilled workers out of the market, young unskilled workers out of the market that aren't worth that wage. You can't justify that wage because an employer pays the position, not the person, right? They pay what the position's worth, not what the person's worth. What you think you're worth is not equal to what the position is worth because value is subjective. So with a job position, whatever the market, right, is saying this is how much this position is worth, that's how much it gets paid, right? So employers don't usually also um, price truly price the position. It's priced by the market. So when you put a ceiling, I mean a floor on that, right? Part-time minimum wage, or part-time you minimum wage is supposed to be young kids going to school, temporary. If it's an adult, it's usually temporary. It's on the job training, right? With that, you build experience to get to make more money. But when you put a floor there, you're saying, all right, we can't justify hiring a 16-year-old $15 an hour. They prefer to pay someone 27 years old with a little experience under their belt that'll come to work and take the job seriously, won't horse around, won't give them attitude, wear the uniform, et cetera, et cetera, right? Uh, the first priority of a politician is to get elected. That's their first priority. There's nothing about that. I don't care what they promise you, what they tell you. The top priority of a politician is to get elected. The second priority of a politician is to get reelected. Everything they do after election is to get reelected and nothing else. Everything else is far behind. All right, they're not in the business of fixing problems. If they're in the business of fixing their own problems, right? If government fixed problems, then there'll be no government. There'll be no use for the government. Uh, just look at the problems. Just look at the things they do: war on drugs, war on crime, war on poverty, war on COVID. All these wars failed, but they don't hesitate to ask for plenty of money, plenty of funding for that, right? And they create bureaucracy on top of bureaucracy, extending government panels for the committee, useless studies. Why don't we have housing? It's a simple economic equation. but they want to do a panel, they want to do a study, just to bullshit, basically. Um, you know, it's it's better not to think of a politician as this person coming to help you or save you because they're only there for themselves. It's a business like any other business, and they're selling a product to get elected, right? In return, they get political gain, profit. You got socialists getting rich off being in office. Bernie Sanders, rich. AOC, rich. Obama, rich. Biden, rich. All these people got rich in office, not before. Which, and if you don't see a red flag there, I don't know what to tell you.